Welcome to the Complete Story Series, where I take trade paperbacks and single issues and I break them down into digestible bites to help you understand, then I read them dramatically back to you. Today we're going to be doing an older storyline. This is one called Carnage USA, in which Carnage took over a town in mid-America and basically turned them into like the Church of Carnage. It's as awesome as it sounds because the Avengers, Spider-Man, and a surprise guest had to show up to stop Carnage. Now I am going to do something. There's a lot of voices in this, so characters like Carnage, I just kept the Carnage voice when he was Cletus or Carnage, letting you guys know right now. That's all you need to know. This story is really old. A lot of what happened here doesn't matter anymore in current continuity, but it's still a super fun storyline. Enjoy. In the small town of Doverton, the residents of the small meat-packing community celebrate the newest into their fold with the birth of Eric and Hannah's daughter. The quiet town is a peaceful place and it rarely ever sees any crime. That is until the floor manager of the Ralsby meat-packing plant notices something different with their latest shipment of meat. The cows were mangled and almost completely stripped, and when he asks what's going on, a voice laughs, telling him, "I'm sorry, I just got hungry." The manager grabs his radio, telling the others to call the police, but as Cletus Cassidy licks the blood off of his fingers, he tells the manager, "Don't bother, because I'll take it." The manager asks, "Take what?" And Carnage wraps itself around Cletus and he shouts, "Everything!" It was 4 days ago when Cletus showed up in the small town, and one of the first places that he struck was the home of Eric and Hannah. Eric raced home in his police cruiser, jumping out as he parked halfway on his lawn, screaming to his wife to get away from the sink. She sets the dish down that she was washing and she asks what's going on. And Eric shouts that it's coming through the sink. "Oh God, where's Cole?" She says that he is giving the baby a bath. What's going? But before she could finish, Eric runs into the bathroom, and as soon as he enters the door, he stops in his tracks. Cole looks down on the bathtub, part of his body covered with carnage, and their daughter is completely taken over. Cole tries to ask for help, but as he does, Carnage takes over the rest of his body, and him and his baby sister lunge at Eric. The government tried to learn what had happened as a single officer from the neighboring county stumbled upon the town and was sent back with a list of demands by Cletus. But the officer wasn't carrying the list, he was the list. Cletus carved 400 poorly spelled words into the body of the officer. Since Cletus wasn't above scratching out his mistakes, he would just start over, and he made a lot of mistakes. What was learned from the list was that Cletus plans to turn Doverton into the capital of the sovereign symbiotic state just before taking over the rest of the world. One of the generals at the emergency response center asks when are they going to move in this, and another tells him we already have. Over at another facility, Spider-Man tries to put an apple on Wolverine's head, telling him, "Relax, I do this all the time. Besides, you got a healing factor." Hawkeye calls out that if somebody doesn't put that apple on their head in 10 seconds, he wins the bet. A few moments later, Captain America walks in telling everyone that this isn't the time to be goofing off, they have orders. Spider-Man says, "Well, it was your idea." And Cap looks at him and says, "Carnage is back. It's not known yet if we're rescuing hostages or recovering victims, but we move out in 5 minutes." Spider-Man activates the radio in his mask, stating that he's gonna give Ben Grimm a call. He has something that they're gonna need. And Hawkeye shouts, "That's just great! Now we're gonna hear those tired stories about Yancey Street and his stupid aunt." Wolverine stares at him asking, "Where did that come from?" And Hawkeye says, "Oh, are we pretending that the thing isn't annoying? Always with the ever-loving blue-eye shtick?" A second later, over Spider-Man's radio, Ben says, "Ever-loving blue-eyed thing speaking. What can I do for you?" And Spider-Man tells him, "Hi, Ben." Down in Doverton, Carnage sits on a swing bench with an old couple asking, "So is this how the meat puppets kill an afternoon? Just sitting around watching time fly? Harder to look at though, isn't it? You wanna know why? Because I'm the only one pushing the damn swing." Carnage gets up saying, "I've worked up a thirst. Why doesn't Martha go fetch me some more of that lemonade?" As the older woman goes inside of the house, Carnage steps out onto the street, looking up, asking, "Where did all the whirlybirds go? The shoppers must be making way for something big. Hey Martha, get out to China. We're about to have some company." Once the Avengers make landfall, they walk down the empty streets when they notice a man standing on his own. Cap asks him, "Is everything all right, sir?" And the man just responds, "Big, big smiles. Big, big smiles." Hawkeye asks, "Is he drunk?" And Wolverine tells him, "No, it's not booze, it's fear, and a lot of it." The team then looks down the street to see more people all standing in a line, stating the same thing. Big, big smiles. Big, big smiles! As Cap walks past one of the women, she quietly tells him to save them, and Spider-Man openly asks, Carnage, what did you do? Carnage walks out from behind the crowd with a baby, stating, I settle down! See here? This isn't just a baby! This is my baby! Don't you get it? They're all mine! They all belong to me! Soon the tendrils wrap around everyone's neck and they begin to constrict. Cletus goes on stating that him and the missus are thinking about expanding the family. Do you know about 4,000 heads of cattle will do a figure? Who's kidding? The missus got pretty fat. Just then Carnage, much larger than before, bursts out of the ground and Ben Grimm steps forward telling him, I got this. He fires a sonic rifle at the mass, but as it separates, it starts to spread across the ground. Spider-Man shouts for everyone not to let it touch them, and as he tries to help pull Carnage off of everyone, Cletus grabs him, telling him, You shouldn't have brought your friends into this, Spidey! As everyone else tries to fight, they're soon overpowered by Carnage, and then they're all covered from head to toe in a symbiote. Carnage looks at the newly converted heroes and says, Well, at least you had friends! Back at the emergency response unit, one of the generals says that Spider-Man's gone offline. He was the last line. One of the operators calls out that the president wants a contingency plan within the next 30 minutes, and General Dugan looks at a screen of symbiotes stating, I got 5 of them. Meanwhile, over in Doverton, Carnage uses the other Avengers to try and capture Spider-Man, but just then, Spider-Man hears the sound of a honking truck. Before the symbiotic Ben Grimm can grab him, a fuel truck speeds by, crashing into Ben and pinning him. And just as Spider-Man gets back up, a Molotov is thrown, igniting the truck. The blast pushes Spider-Man back to the ground, and a man reaches down telling him, Hurry up, it only bought us a couple of seconds. After being covered in fire, Ben rips the symbiote off of his body, shouting, When I get a hold of Cletus, he's gonna. Cletus tells him, Oh no, you're not going anywhere. He then begins to cover Ben once again, and as he screams, Cletus tells him, I know, insubordination in a happy town. What's next? Back with Dugan's first contingency plan, he looks out over the lab to where Dr. Tanis Neves is, the woman who is permanently bonded with the cyber symbiotic Scorn. The symbiotic is a hybrid between alien and machine, allowing Dr. Neves to form sympathic bonds with technology. She begins dismantling and reassembling machines, stating that this thing was built for war, and they want to be weapons. Dugan walks down into the lab, stating that she was a victim of the prolonged psychic assault by Carnage, resulting in her permanent bond with an alien prodigy. Tanis pulls back her mask, telling him, Oh right, thanks for reminding me. Totally slipped my mind. Now what do you want? Dugan tells her, I know if you were given a chance, you would kill Cletus Cassidy. She closes her eyes for a moment and then says yes, she would. Dugan walks away, stating, All right, you're ready. Later, he heads out to meet with his second contingency plan, Mercury Team. A team of men who have been enhanced with the symbiotic power of hybrid after it was de-amalgamated. Chief Petty Officer Marcus Sims controls the symbiotically enhanced war god Lasher. Lieutenant James Murphy, Navy SEAL Heavy Munitions, assigned the bioweapon Agony. Lieutenant Rico Axelson, Navy SEAL Sniper, assigned with the bioweapon Phage. And finally, Petty Officer Howard Organ, Mark Sock, Reconnaissance, assigned bioweapon Riot. Howard uses his speed to hold one of the commanding officers at knife point, stating, That's the whole show, so when do we start? Meanwhile, just outside of Doverton, Spider-Man sits in the back of the pickup truck, heading towards home, and he asks, So how did you know I was in trouble out there? One of the men watching the back says they didn't come for him, they just got family that was left behind. Eric looks at Spider-Man and asks, Did you see a baby back there? Or a kid around the age of 7 named Cole? Spider-Man tells him that he isn't sure about Cole, but he did see the baby, and she looked fine. As the truck pulls into the compound, Spider-Man looks over and asks, Are those lions in there? Those are lions. And Eric tells him Ralsby owned the meatpacking plant and he liked animals. This was his own private zoo. 2 lions, a gorilla, 3 chimpanzees, and a giraffe. And another man says, Don't forget about those damned howler monkeys. Eric goes on stating that normally they'd have kept it in electrified pens, but they had to use the juice to power the fence around the perimeter. Spider-Man then asks, Why would they do that? What's worse than keeping out an 800-pound lion? Oh, sorry, just caught myself, stupid question. Meanwhile, back in town, Cletus sits with Eric's baby, stating that he was about her age when his daddy took him to his first bar. He then looks at Cole, who's sitting huddled alone, and asking, Isn't that right, Cole? I said, ain't that right? Are you still moping even after I got you that spider pet? Cletus blows him off as he walks to the pool table, stating, Whatever, I got winner. Out from behind, Hannah begs him to stop, and Cletus says, Hannah, I'm with my friends. She shouts to give her back her children. And Cletus tells her, No, we're gonna be one big happy family, and I can't trust you with the kids alone. Hannah pleads, asking, what does she have to do to prove that she won't leave? And Cletus tells her, Actually, there's one thing. Bring me back your husband's head. That way, I will know where your priorities lie. Is that fair? Hannah falls to her knees, stating that she'll do it. And Cletus tells her, Good. A second later, Hannah, Cole, and the baby are covered in the Carnage symbiote, and Cletus folds his arms, stating, "That's always been my motto, strict but fair." As night comes, Cole's spider pet goes back to the meat packing plant to have a late night snack. But as he eats, he hears a gurgled bark, and a second later, Marcus's symbiotic dog charges in, biting away at the spider pet. The spider pet backs away, but Marcus tells the dog to heel, letting the spider pet get away. The rest of the Mercury team steps in, stating that the perimeter's clear, but they lost the good doctor on their way in. Rico then says that she's just in the tool shed, they should probably go get her now. James heads to the back, calling out to Tanis, asking what is she doing, and she looks away from a wall of assorted cutting tools, stating that she's gonna do some window shopping. Back in the old church, though, Cletus stands before his people, telling them, "We are gathered here today for a communion of sacrifice, a show of solidarity. Your Lord thinks that he deserves something for taking you all under his wing, and what he wants is your freaking teeth!" While everyone begins to pull out their teeth, Cap struggles to free himself from Cletus's control, stating, "We're gonna put him down." Cletus tightens his grip, telling him, "This isn't like the last time where you got me with the power of love or whatever. There is no love. Pray to God that I don't make you help pull out their teeth." Also at this time, over at the Ralsby estate, one of the women runs up on Spider-Man, telling him that he needs to come, something's happening. Spider-Man hurries outside, and one of the guards says that it's Eric. But before he could finish, Eric points his gun at the other survivor, stating that he's going to open the gate whether they want to or not. His family is right outside. Spider-Man looks out there to see Hannah and the kids, and Eric gets in the truck and hits the gas, heading straight for the gate. He shouts that if they won't open the gate, he'll do it himself, but he crashes through it, pulling up to Hannah. She tells him that she's sorry. They have to say goodbye now. And Eric asks, what is she talking about? She says that she's doing this for the kids, but as Carnage overcomes her, she rips the door off the side of the truck. Spider-Man runs down, jumping through the back of the truck's window, grabbing Hannah, pulling her out. But as they land, the kids jump on him, shouting, "Get off Mommy!" Hannah gets back on, grabbing Eric, telling him that he told her that if she doesn't kill him, he will kill the kids. She doesn't know what to do. Eric stops her, telling her, "Do it. If it's for the kids, then do it." Hannah struggles to regain control, but Cletus takes over, throwing Eric, stating, "She can't do it! My hussy of a wife ruined it for everyone! Cole, grab your sister, we're leaving." Eric shouts at them to wait, but Cletus yells that he's taking them back and he's gonna eat them. "Say goodbye to your father, kids." Eric scrambles to get back up, stating, "We need to go! He's gonna kill them!" And Spider-Man tells him, "No, he's not. I promise you that." Over at the church, Mercury team advances, but James stops everyone, stating that they got movement. A woman runs out yelling that they need to leave, but soon Carnage takes over and the woman begins to hiss. Rico fires at the woman to stop her, asking what the hell is even going on, but just then all of the townspeople start to pour out of the church, attacking, and James's minigun starts to spin and mow down those crowds. Back inside of the church, Cletus looks at Hannah and asks which one of them is he going to kill first. She cries, stating to please let her kids go, but Cletus then asks, "Cap, do you hear that? Sounds like she wants the kids to go first." However, just then Cletus hears a gun going off from the outside and he gets distracted. Cap breaks free of his control and he punches him to the ground. Cletus then quickly gets up, pinning Cap to the wall. But while still in control, Cap radios out that he is requesting a spike drop on his location for codename 4563. Repeat, 4563. Cletus shouts, asking, "Who did you call?" And Cap says, "Ha, it's a secret." Elsewhere, a man picks up the phone, stating that this is the Avengers Black Operative, Victor Edward. Confirmed location, execute 5463 immediately, Victor out. The man laughs as he loads his gun, stating, "Ha, I was eager to take a shot at Cassidy. Hillbilly moron never could handle his suit. Should have put him down a long time ago. But lucky for us, he wasn't. Agent Venom, ready to move out." Back at the Ralsby estate, Spider-Man gathers everyone around to give them a pep talk, but hands off a shotgun that he was given, telling someone else to take it, and he feels like a tool. Anyway, they all know how dangerous this is going to be. A psychopath has let a murderous alien symbiote out in their town. He doesn't really like the idea of all of them following out there. But they do have trank guns from the zoo, and is anybody gonna do something about the gorilla? Everyone looks at the gorilla sitting there, and one of the men shouts, "Get on, get!" Spider-Man says, "So, you guys just let those things run wild?" And Eric tells him that they don't really have a choice since he drove his truck through the fence. Sorry about that. As all the animals start running out outside the compound, Spider-Man says, that's probably going to be a problem. Meanwhile, back in the town, Mercury team holds their ground, but as Rico and Howard hold the line, Cletus shouts, "Hey kids, get off my lawn!" While the Mercury team tries to hold up against Cletus and the possessed Avengers, Dugan radios to Tanis at the meatpacking plant, asking, "What the hell are you doing?" Scorin tells her not to listen to them. They're just gonna find what they're looking for in the building. Soon, Cletus and the others start to beat down on Mercury team, but just before they start to get killed off, Spider-Man and the other survivors speed in. The survivors start throwing Molotovs, stating that they really don't know which ones are the good guys since they all seem to have a symbiote. But Eric jumps down with a truck, shouting for Hannah, asking where is she, and Cletus says, "Is that Hannah's hubby?" "That's right, I was supposed to kill you all." Spider-Man jumps through, telling Eric to go find his family. He's got this one. And Cletus shouts to Spider-Man, "Stop trying to show off to your new friends! You don't got nothing!" While the fight with Cletus continues, Eric runs inside of the bar to find Hannah tied to a chair being choked. As Cletus pins Spider-Man down, he tells him, "I'm gonna pluck your eyes out through that stupid mask of yours." And just then a voice tells Spider-Man to hold still, and Cletus is hit with a sonic blast. As the symbiote screams, Flash Thompson radios back that he's made contact with the Mark. Avengers assembled. Spider-Man looks up stating, "Aw, crap! Punisher's dressed like me now?" Flash loads his gun, telling him, "Don't worry, I'm a friend." Flash fires another shot at Cletus, peeling the symbiote off, and Cletus tells him, "Shot shrapnel. That's not fair." As Cletus begins to lose control of Carnage, the heroes start to push through Cletus' hold. And then with another crack on the head, Flash grabs his gun and sticks it into Cletus' mouth. Spider-Man shouts, "Wait, no one dies!" And Agent Venom looks back, telling him, "But it's him." With a small window of opportunity, Cletus uses the Avengers to knock Flash Thompson away, and Cletus laughs, telling him, "Wow! Too slow!" Just then, there's a rumbling and a giant bulldozer driven by Tannis running through, capturing both Cletus and Flash Thompson. As everyone watches the bulldozer drive by, Spider-Man asks, "Is that Tannis?" And Marcus asks, "Where is she going?" Flash sighs, stating, "All I had to do was pull the trigger, but no, my childhood hero said not to." Tannis drives back to the meatpacking plant, throws the two of them into an area surrounded by sonic emitters. They both tumble in as their symbiotes are stripped away, leaving the both of them vulnerable. Without Cletus' control, Carnage separates from everyone, including the Avengers, and he goes into hiding. Tannis then radios to everyone that the Carnage symbiote is fleeing. Cletus Cassidy is no longer in control. Spider-Man says, "That's nice. What about the other guy?" Back inside of the sonic field, Cletus smacks Flash's face, telling him, "Hey, wakey wakey!" Flash wakes up to see Cletus standing over him with a piece of glass, and he asks, "Where did your legs go, college boy?" Moments later, everyone heads over to the meatpacking plant, and Spider-Man asks, "So what is Tannis working on?" And Cap tells him, "Yeah, we got a Venom too." Which means we have two rogue symbiotes out in the wild, which probably isn't a good thing. Over inside the sonic field, Cletus inches closer to Flash, telling him, "Hey, would you look at that? At least when I lose my symbiote, I still got legs." As Cletus takes another step, though, his legs begin to crack, and both of his legs shatter as he falls to the ground. He looks down, stating, "Well, looks like those symbiote circuits don't like machines either. What are we gonna do now?" Flash grabs a hanging hook and crawls over, telling him, "Let's ask my new friend here." He stabs the hook into Cletus' arm, and Cletus laughs as he leans forward and takes a bite into Flash's neck. Flash pushes him off, and Cletus continues laughing, telling him, "That tasted like a book-learned pig, my favorite." Back outside, before everyone else can head inside, Spider-Man hears something, and when he looks back, he says, "Remember those rogue symbiotes? Pretty sure those are it." The escaped animals begin to run by, and Venom has bonded with a gorilla, and Carnage has bonded with another escaped animal. The gorilla jumps over the crowd towards the plant, but before it can get in, one of the Carnage lions lunges at him, pinning him to the ground. As all of the other Carnage animals swarm the area, Ben shouts, asking, "Has anyone seen my sonic disruptor?" Tannis tells him, "Yeah, she just borrowed it." And she fires the beam through the mass, separating Carnage, and Marcus grabs his radio, shouting that they have contained the target at these coordinates. Do not, I repeat, do not burn the entire town down. Dugan tells him that he doesn't have the authority to make that call, and while Marcus tries to plead with him, Cap grabs the radio, asking, "What's your name, son?" Dugan asks, "Who's this?" And Cap repeats himself, asking, "What is your name?" Over with Spider-Man. He kicks the Carnage lion from the Venom gorilla, and as the gorilla jumps away, he tells him, "Hey, you're welcome!" And as the first bomber gets closer to the town, he radios out to the others that they got new orders. Localized strike. Who took out a chunk of the commander? Sounded like he was crying. Marcus then calls out to everyone that the area is hot. They need to get everyone to the streets. The bombers then release their payload, firing into the Carnage mass, blowing it all up and covering everything in fire. Back inside of the plant, Cletus hangs Flash up by a meat hook, telling him, "Which eye should I take first? Don't make me choose." Just then he hears the grunt of a gorilla, and when he looks back, he asks, "What is that doing here?" Suddenly, Cletus feels himself lifted up, and Flash, back with his Venom suit, tells him, "Would you look at that? Guess my symbiote likes me." As parts of Doverton burn, part of the Carnage symbiote cries out, and Tannis scoops it up, stating, "Shh, for you, it's gonna be much worse." Spider-Man looks at her, asking, "What has she got there?" And Tannis tells him the secondary objective. Marcus calls out to the rest of the team that they need to get out of here. They're being pulled out. Venom got here first. Flash walks out holding Cletus by the head, telling him that he couldn't kill him. "Not when I answer to Spider-Man. Kinda silly, but I'm a fan of his." Cap tells him that he should be proud of himself. They're bringing this one in alive. As Flash walks towards the jet, Eric shouts, "No! He doesn't get to live!" And he fires his gun. The buckshot bounces off of Ben's shoulder and he yells, "Hey!" And Spider-Man lowers Eric's gun, telling him that he's not a murderer. He won't let him do this. Eric points his gun at Spider-Man, telling him to get out of the way, but Spider-Man grabs it, punching Eric, asking, "Do you want to be like him? You have a family, a wife, and 2 kids." Eric looks up, stating, 3. Her name was Stephanie. Cletus, he. Wolverine looks over at all of the destruction, stating, "Makes you wonder what you're doing here, when you stop a man from doing what needs to be done." Hawkeye tells him that at least they did it. They kept Cassidy from getting away. And Wolverine asks, "You really think so? Look at this place. I'm not so sure we did stop him." As Cletus is put on the jet, he sits back, smiling. And there you have it. Carnage! USA. Awesome storyline. I'm almost positive this is the first appearance of Agent Venom as far as Spider-Man's concerned. I know he may have popped up previously or whatever, but overall, this is probably my favorite introduction of him. Hey, I'm here. Look how awesome I am. It was just really cool. For me, I enjoyed it. What did you think about this storyline in general, though? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did you like the idea of the Cult of Carnage? The whole thing? And if you really like this storyline, let me know, because it does continue. Because Cletus is captured. It moves on into a couple other plots that eventually leads to minimum carnage and stuff like that, which is an awesome storyline in itself involving Scarlet Spider. So let me know in the comments down below what you thought about this storyline, and if you want more of this kind of a thing, you want some more classic Carnage, you want some great Venom stuff. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel to get more Carnage, Venom, Spider-Man, all kinds of cool comic book knowledge bombs dropped on you. From comic books to TV show recaps to movies to just letting you know about your favorite universe. That's what we do here at Comicstorian. See you next time.